Hi, this is Jenna, and you're watching Bronco Planet.
Well, howdy there, Bronco fans. Chad Ring right here at Bronco Planet. And once again, we have the special privilege of having Cecil Lammey, ESPN's Denver's insider. And, hey, we got through camp. We got him here to tell us a little bit about your thoughts. There's been some movement since the last time you sat in that chair. Tell us a little bit about what you think so far of the Broncos' moves, who's coming, who's going. What's going on over there at Dove Valley?
Right, we got to start with that center position, of course. We got the news about J.D. Walton needing that extra procedure on his ankle, and a lot of us had speculated, okay, it's now time for Dan Copen to return to this team, and in a wise move, the Denver Broncos did just that, and we saw how Copen filled in so admirably last year, and we look at the offensive line play. I think it's something interesting to note for all Broncos fans out there that in this Adam Gase system, we're going to see more lateral movement from the offensive line. This fits Copen to a T, even more so than the straight-ahead power blocking that we saw under Mike McCoy. So that addition, he's got chemistry with Peyton Manning. It was the right move for the Denver Broncos.
My biggest question is, why so long? I mean, come on, man. He did such a great job last year, and you knew even if JD had stayed on track, he's coming back. Is it because they had Phillip Blake, they had Manny Ramirez, who, is versatile, but gave up a lot of sacks last year. So why not earlier?
A veteran that's been in the league for a decade is a guy that you can wait until training camp, and nobody else had signed him and had scooped him up. So I think that was the Broncos' emergency plan right there. Going to Manny Ramirez, while versatile, it's not the guy that you want to start. In fact, Tom Nalen, Broncos Ring of Famer, very proud of Tommy for that, said it would be catastrophic if Manny Ramirez was their starting center. But actually talked about Chris Cooper maybe moving over to the inside because now he's a reserve player and still a fantastic player when healthy.
All right, another big thing happened since we met last. Willis McGahee had some big carries for the Broncos. Big guy, come back. He misses a little OTA. What's your thoughts on the whole McGahee situation?
Yeah, a couple things to clear up here with Willis McGahee. There have been some reports, perhaps erroneous, saying, well, it was health. The reason why they got rid of him was health. I don't think that, because you had John Fox say he's looked good out there. They got him some reps, very limited reps, mind you, but they did get him some reps. They got it on film because teams can get in trouble if they cut a guy for injury and don't give him an injury settlement, and that didn't happen with McGahee. And even McGahee told us the day that he came back for the first day of mandatory minicamp, he said, I'm healthy, I'm good, 100%, feel great. So it's not, they didn't cut him due to health. They cut him because they trust the backs in place. Mike Kliss had told me earlier in the week, before mandatory minicamp started, he said, if we see, or when we see Moreno or McGahee released, it was always either or. It's because they trust the backs in place. Those backs are Ronnie Hillman and, of course, rookie Montee Ball.
All right, now I know you've always been an advocate for Ronnie Hillman. I think a tremendous athlete, had some good performances last year. What's your thought between the two backs, or do you like the combination of them?
I love thunder and lightning. As we know in today's NFL, it's a running back by committee. That's what it is. Very rarely do you get the Adrian Petersons, and they don't have that with Montee Ball or Ronnie Hillman, but what you have combined is a great combination, and Adam Gase has said as much during this offseason in giving us small clues from Gase saying that he may rotate backs on series. Give a guy an entire series. Give Hillman the entire series, and then here comes Montee Ball. And when you get a lead, as we know Peyton Manning will for the Denver Broncos, then all of a sudden you're up by 14. Here comes Montee Ball. He's going to bang it between the tackles, eat up that game clock, and really be an asset for you late in games and on short yardage and goal line situation. Guy's the NCAA record setter for touchdowns scored. So he'll play a big role there as well.
All right, we're going to switch over to the defensive side because some of the numbers aren't really adding up, especially when you talk about defensive back. But before we do that, earlier this morning, talked to one of your friends, Ed McCaffrey. He's out there. He got a big event happening tomorrow that we want you all to be aware of. And, he's giving you the shout-out, Cecil. You're the man in town, I guess.
Hey, Broncos fans, I'm Ed McCaffrey. Cecil, what's up, my man? You working hard? I know you are. We're out here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Valor Christian High School for our Dare to Play football camp. It's for young men and women with Down syndrome. We partner with the Denver Broncos cheerleaders, and tomorrow we're hoping you all come out at about 10:30 a.m. to support the campers during a game. We got a scoreboard, we got referees, we got the Broncos cheerleaders, we have a halftime show, and it's all to show that kids with Down syndrome love football, they love to play team sports, they dare to play, they're going to dare to play tomorrow, and we want to clap for them and cheer for them and encourage them, and we're hoping you come out to do the same. We got a tailgate party afterwards, free food, free admission, free everything. I'll tell you, you won't regret it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Please come on out and support these guys that are working hard. It's hot, but we're having a lot of fun. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Oh, always good to see Eddie Mack involved in the community. I mean, you see that a lot around here in Denver. What do you think about the athletes like Ed and some of the things that they're involved in?
Well, it's great to see the Broncos just embrace this community, because this fan base, I've said it a million times, you know, the connection between the Denver Broncos and their fan base, not only do the fans understand it, but the franchise does and the players do. They know exactly how much they mean to you, and they respond in kind.
All right, we talked before the little break there to Ed. We talked about the defensive backfield. There's a lot of defensive backs, and you know the Broncos aren't going to be able to keep all of them. What are your thoughts?
Well, for all the Broncos fans that wanted Charles Woodson, you essentially get that in a cheaper version with Quentin Jammer, a veteran cornerback who's now going to compete at safety for the Denver Broncos. And you really wonder now with that addition, well, what happens to Mike Adams? What happens to Quentin Carter? We've seen David Bruton get a lot of first-team work, and the Broncos found a special team star that became a defensive star for them in Wesley Woodyard. Talked to Jack Del Rio earlier this offseason. He said, hopefully, Bruton could make that same sort of jump. So all of a sudden, you're looking at that 53-man roster, anticipating who's going to stay, who's going to go. There's a numbers crunch at that cornerback position and at the safety position as well.
Well, it's going to be interesting to say. Mike Adams had me nervous some last year. I think he was consistent, but there was no aha moment with him ever. And Rahim Moore, I want to talk to you about him for just a second. So we had a chance to talk to Billy Thompson, great former Bronco safety, and he was telling us that you can't think back there. You just have to play football and do. Will Rahim Moore be, after that big play that everybody knows about,
right,
will he be able to overcome that and just play football, or is it going to be a mind game for him?
That big play that everybody knows about, and nobody brings up Tony Carter in that play. You don't, and Jacoby Jones, the scouting report on him, the guy's just a straight line speedster. You don't play in that situation and sort of press or try to bump him, or even you back up 20 yards off the line of scrimmage and say, catch it in front of me. So I think Carter doesn't get his share of the blame for that play, but Rahim Moore, and it's been a big topic of conversation with several defensive players. Wesley Woodyard has commented on it. Champ Bailey has commented on it. We've talked to Rahim Moore about it. It seems like his confidence is fine. And we know that with his athleticism, and we saw his confidence shaken. Let's rewind and talk about his hit on Donald Jones in that preseason game against Buffalo. That was a huge hit, legal, by the way, that he got fined for and flagged on that play. But it kind of shook Moore's confidence then. We've seen this play shake it now, but it sounds like he's on the right track to getting that back, and that's good news for Denver.
All right, another numbers game on the offensive side now, switching back to tight ends. I keep hearing about Julius Thomas. Virgil Green did a good job blocking last year. You got Tammy, you got Dreesen. Joel's been hurt. What in the world are the Broncos going to do with all those tight ends?
Yeah, that's really interesting this year because of the design of the offense. We know that's 11 personnel. And when I say that, always know that it's the first number is the number of running backs. The second number is the number of tight ends. And you always assume 5 skill position players. So if you say 11 personnel, it's 1 running back, 1 tight end. If you say 12 personnel like they were last year, it was 1 running back and 2 tight ends. Well, this year, those 3 wide receiver sets are going to dominate their offense. It will be their base formation, which means you're only going to have 1 tight end on the field. Well, is that Tammy? Sometimes it will be Julius Thomas. This guy is an impressive playmaker. They've just been waiting for him to stay healthy. I saw him at the Shrine game years ago down in Orlando, and Thomas was a standout player there. Of course, a former basketball star from Portland State, knows how to hoop it up. His favorite dunk, this shows how athletic he is. His favorite dunk is a 360 tomahawk. The guy can pull that off. Yeah, just that one. Just only the most difficult dunk in the planet.
Dominique Wilkins, Wilkins.
Wilkins, there we go. Human highlight film. That's what you have with Julius Thomas. So he'll be on the field some. Joel Dreesen's still the best blocking tight end on this team and a great red zone target. I think he makes that roster as well. It's interesting to know what happens to Virgil Green. Now, I wasn't big on Virgil Green when he came out of Nevada. Was always a guy that made good plays as a receiver, but he was usually wide open in the design of that pistol offense there for Nevada. Now he's become a better blocker. I like his all-around game, but now he's fourth in the pecking order. You got Lucas Reed, undrafted free agent, who I like from Chatfield Chargers, baby. I like him, but you throw him on the practice squad probably. With the design of this offense and how many receivers you're going to keep, that will create a numbers crunch at tight end. And if you have to get rid of one, if you're assuming putting Reed on the practice squad, that one could be Virgil Green. I hope it's not, because I like his development, but you never know. And at that position, it will be de-emphasized this year in the Adam Gase offense. Maybe Green is that guy. And if you want a little pro tip here, his former quarterback is Colin Kaepernick. So if you get to a point where Green is looking like he might not make the final roster, I pick up the phone to San Francisco, who lost Delaney Walker in free agency to the Titans. They still got Vernon Davis, but they lost Michael Crabtree to an Achilles injury. I pick up the phone and say, hey, we've got a tight end that your quarterback really liked, and see what can happen.
That's why I bring the expert on. You're not getting all that from Bronco Planet. We're usually talking about what we're going to take to the game or where we're going to meet at the parking lot, but this is the real deal here. So, hey, Bronco fans, you can follow. You talked about the platooning of the running back, so once it gets fantasy time, that'll mess you up. So you're going to want to turn into the football guys, and they're going to give you all the fantasy news you want, so you can follow Cecil there, and we'll just keep coming up. It can be a little bit dead here, but once training camp starts, we encourage you to tune in. We'll have lots of shows. And one last thing, I mentioned Billy Thompson earlier. Become a member of the Denver Bronco Booster Club, because if you're a member of the Denver Bronco Booster Club, you're going to get in your July newsletter an interview with Billy Thompson and Louis Wright that only the Booster Club had. You're going to have newsletters all year long. It's all about supporting the Broncos. Non-profit, $20, so follow you all year long, and it goes to the Alumni Association, it goes to Quarterback Club. It's all about giving back. If Eddie Mack's giving back, we can give back. And Cecil, we appreciate you. You're the busiest guy in Denver. We appreciate you dropping by the set here at Bronco Planet. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Go Broncos!